Hey guys, I'm Nick, the Vinyl Casket, home to the lamest taste. Thank you for joining me on this awesome special live recap video of Boom Studios' current ongoing series, Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers. I'm here with my good friend and co-host of the weekly roundup, Manny from Manny Reads Comics. How you doing, Manny?
Doing good. Ready to talk about some Power Rangers. Be a
Yes, so
child.
this is a series that I was not currently reading. I was so interested in it and watching Manny do reviews and talk about it every week and getting our other co-host Carlos, Omni City Comics on Instagram, into this. I was like, okay, I have a basic understanding of everything that led up to this. Let me jump into this new series. And now that I'm caught up, we thought we would do a nice recap video to kind of where we are, a nice little condensed review. Um, First off, we'll talk a little bit about what Kyle Higgins did when he rebooted basically Power Rangers for Boom Studios through several series and events, including he had the Go Go Power Rangers.
Yeah, so at first time it was Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Go Go Power Rangers, and then they just switched to Mighty Morphin and then Power Rangers.
Yes, and he had the event which was Shattered Grid
Yeah.
and Beyond the Grid.
Beyond the Grid, then Necessary Evil, and there was
I think
something in
Beyond the
between
Grid
there.
I think Beyond the Grid happens after Shattered Grid and then
Mhm.
Necessary Evil.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I feel
So
like something
now,
else is in there, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
yeah, I'm pretty sure the way the hardcovers are set up, it's year one, year two, then Shattered Grid, Beyond the Grid, and I think Beyond the Grid is a different writer,
Mhm.
and then
Uh,
that's
yeah.
and then Necessary Evil is when Kyle Higgins starts to switch it and give it to the current writer,
Mhm.
um, well, half
Yeah.
current writer,
Yeah.
Ryan Parrot, who did these first 16 issues of these two series. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the um I guess the formula, the layout on how these will roll out. They're two separate series, Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers. They were coming out once a month each. But they're like in the same universe, they're connected, and they had connecting covers and everything. How did you feel about that format?
I was just about to say I didn't like it. I just felt like it was kind of a cash grab. Like here, buy these two titles at the same price each. Um, I do like having two teams. Like if I would have liked it if because Power Rangers deals more with like the Omega Rangers, right?
Yes.
I would have liked it if that was just like one little arc and then done. You know, like that's the only reason we did Power Rangers. Here's the arc introducing the Omega Rangers and what happens to them, and then be done. And then that way, my wallet could just kind of relax a little bit and only buy one Power Rangers title. But either way, I still kept up with both, so I
Yeah.
had to do what I had to
It
do.
wasn't that hard keeping up with it as in like collective format because of the way
Yeah.
they published everything. Um, with the trade paperbacks, which I really appreciate Boom being pretty quick with publishing that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Um, but how I liked it was basically instead of like 2 years worth of story to lead into the event at the end of the 16 issues, um, you had two ongoing things building into one big story
Mhm.
because the first couple issues of both of them kind of overlap and then they go their separate ways and then they reconnect.
Right. Right.
So I liked it. You had, I also liked how the Omega Rangers and just the use of the Power Rangers uh ongoing was a really good way to explain um what happened to the original red,
Yeah.
yellow, and black Rangers because obviously in the show we know they wanted more money and they fired them and they
Yeah.
used this whole they went off to a peace conference and they
Which they
used that
still use
same
the same excuse, but it was actually their
but
offense
actually
coordinator.
put something behind it. And I thought that
Yeah.
was a really, really cool as someone that grew up watching the show to be like, oh, that's perfect.
I like that too. But again, I just really because I don't see, and they're going to definitely do it, but I don't see how they're going to connect uh, Jason from Omega Ranger Red to Gold Ranger Zeo, which we'll probably get to a little bit later. But it does look like Zeo is coming up, and
Yeah,
like you called, it looks like Lightspeed or In Space
in
is coming up.
space.
In Space is coming up, so they
Yeah.
are looking like they're about to like start going into those different directions. But Omega kind of puts a little nail or a little, what is it called, like a glitch in the system, basically. Like, how are they going to connect that?
Well, it looks like Ryan Parrot has like plans still for this series, and because it's not called Omega Rangers, the Power Rangers title can go in any direction they really
Yeah,
want.
yeah.
Mighty Morphin's definitely gonna have to change because Mighty Morphin ends with that original set.
Well, with that train of thought, I feel like that's actually a pretty good observation. Power Rangers can be anything, and then like eventually they can go into the future and talk about Time Force, or they can go a little bit more into Ninja Storm, things like that. But Mighty Morphin, in that case, I want Mighty Morphin to come to an end. Like, I really like maybe at 19 or 20, I just want one Power Rangers title. I don't like that. Like they're also doing the same thing with Radiant Black, where like Radiant Black's the main thing, but now they have Radiant Red, and I'm scared that they're gonna do
Well,
Radiant
Radiant
Pink,
Red's only a
Radiant
mini
Yellow.
series.
It is, and that's why I'm not complaining about it too much, because it's just a mini series. But imagine if they started doing like Radiant Yellow, Radiant Pink, uh,
Well,
and
they're
all
already
that.
doing Rogue Sun, which spins out,
Rogue Sun is its own hero, right? So like
but in that
that's
universe.
okay, yeah. But I mean, in your, what you're trying to say is like you can't have Batman, Superman, Hawk Girl,
Well, these are indie
Green
comics.
Lantern.
You're like, oh, there's gonna be a Lord Zed book.
I'd be fine with that. But eventually I'd be like, okay, I can't look at every single uh, uh Power Rangers book. I can't pick up every single book, because then if they do this, where they go the route of like they create this Power Rangers universe and like all these different books, then it's gonna be like I can't collect all of the DC characters. I can't collect all of the Marvel books that are coming out, even though I want to.
The problem that I see coming forward is that there's so much established content
Hmm.
in characters and teams, and I'm pretty sure that Boom Studios isn't limited to licensing like
Hmm.
Hasbro is,
Right.
because I don't think anyone else owned the comic rights. I don't know, because I know one of the movies and Turbo are owned by a different company. I think Disney.
There's a couple of seasons. I think Ninja Storm is the first season where it was owned by a different company, but I have no clue
Well,
if
there
the
was a
comics
point where
use it or not.
licensing was owned by Nickelodeon. There was a point where
Yeah,
it was by Disney. There was a point where it was Saban had it, then gave it up, then bought it back, and now Hasbro
yeah.
owns the main titles. But I'm just interested in what they're gonna do. You know,
I'm
with
happy.
this, and I like that there's two titles because it allows you to get a little bit more development. Where if I think of all those characters are jammed in one book, we wouldn't get have gotten some new characters. So I'm gonna start talking about um the actual plots
Mhm.
and talk about the books. So we'll start off with Mighty Morphin, like Manny said, deals with the original cast of um Power Rangers from Mighty Morphin. And this is, I think, in Necessary Evil, Tommy becomes the right White Ranger, right?
Yes, that's when he like steps up and does that. Yeah,
So with this, we're at that like season two, probably maybe season three era. I think they have the Thunder Zords, right?
yeah, definitely. Yeah, they show that off. They show them like creating different Zords that we didn't see in the TV shows, which is kind of cool. But yeah, they definitely have the Thunder Swords.
Yeah. So
They
they're at
didn't they
that
didn't
point.
show, either they haven't gotten to it or they skipped it. I can't remember. But they didn't show the like the Ninja Rangers basically. You remember when they just like they probably
the
haven't gotten to it actually.
those the Alien Rangers.
No, no, no. Well, yes, and I think in this last issue they actually introduced that planet. Is that planet with the
Oh,
alien?
Aquatar.
Aquatar, whatever. I think that's where the alien rangers come
You
from.
think that's where they're going? Oh, that's where they're going. Ooh.
I think so. I needed to look it up. I didn't actually do my due diligence and research that, but I think that's where they're going. But no, that's yeah. The alien rangers and the ninja rangers do show up at the same time. You're right. So that's probably where we're
What
going.
Ninja Rangers?
Like they're wearing the whole like ninja robes
Oh,
type
that's
of stuff.
them in those costumes.
Yeah, yeah. Like
Oh, okay,
remember the
okay,
Power
okay.
Rangers movie,
The
the very first
movie
one? Yeah, that like they went to that island for to fight ooze or
that
whatever.
that's the Mighty Morphin movie.
Yeah, yeah. And so they
Okay,
became Ninja Rangers, but they were
and they get
still
like the
known as Mighty
Frog
Morphin.
Zord,
Yeah,
and okay, I know what you're talking about. And he gets the that's not the dragon. What it
the
the
Falcon.
Phoenix,
Who gets Phoenix?
the Red Ranger.
Yes.
No, he gets a robot.
He's got like a gorilla.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. I remember that.
I think that if
Yeah,
they use it, it's gonna
they
be in the
still have
future.
some.
But yeah, they didn't skip it.
They definitely have some things that they can still use from this original, but they're making a lot of original content.
Yeah.
Um, which is what I really liked about this storyline, which basically deals with Zed has gotten this new power surge from like the Zeo crystals. He's a little bit more ruthless. He's very evil, and he wants to take over Angel Grove to try to prove that like Zordon's wrong.
Yeah.
But we're also getting Promethea with the introduction of a new Green Ranger, which is really cool. That like that never happened.
It was really cool until it ended up being Matt. I'm gonna be a downer here, and I knew instantly. Kind of my first initial thought was it's gonna be Matt. I hope it's not Matt. I really hope it's not Matt because that was just too obvious. And then it turned out to be him, and of course that makes problems between him and Tommy, him and Kimberly,
Yeah,
and honestly everybody because he was mad at all of them for not telling
but
him.
he was friends with Rocky still.
Yeah, I think it's because Rocky was like the second Red Ranger. He didn't. Rocky never lied to him. It was Jason that lied to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
Um,
like then it's just Rocky stepping in.
I really liked how I did like the romantic problem because
The
if you
little
don't know,
triangle shit.
Matt is Kimberly the Pink Ranger's original boyfriend,
Hmm.
and Tommy the White Ranger being her new boyfriend. They're like that gap,
Superior,
and
the
like
superior boyfriend.
throughout that whole first this first story arc, there's like that like, oh, do we trust him? Whatever. But they also build the whole distrust with Billy, who helped him.
Which I have a theory on that. I really do feel like this is gonna be Billy, and I'm skipping forward to like what's currently happening. But I think all of that happened with Billy and the distrust and him working with Grace, it's gonna be his way to step out of the
Yeah.
Rangers. Like in the TV show, it was because he's like he needs to work in the power chamber and blah blah, and he needed to step back. But I feel like now it's gonna be like I'm gonna go work for Grace, so someone else needs to step up and be the Blue Ranger, and that's when they're actually gonna become the Zeo Rangers. That's just a theory.
Yeah. I hope so. There's so many combinations of what they could do because they could easily make Billy an Omega Ranger. They
Yeah,
could they could make Kim the Red Omega Ranger.
I personally don't want Omega Rangers anymore. I see that you really like them and stuff, but like me
Well,
personally, I'm
I'm
just like
just
I'm done with
nervous what
them.
they're gonna do with those characters. Are they just gonna be nothing now?
I
Like they
feel
have
like
all this responsibility, I feel like.
that's what I wanted was like, hey, you did what you needed to do. You stopped the Imperials. This is your mission. You're done. Go away or wait until the next universe threatening um, uh, bad guy, which the rest leave to the Rangers.
All right. So the other cool thing, I agree with you there. The other cool thing that happened in the Mighty Morphin ongoing was every issue started with like a couple pages, which was like a prologue that gave you Zordon's origin.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I
that was
thought that
really
was
cool.
awesome because we've never really had like an in-depth origin of Zordon.
Yeah, and what we had from the TV show is definitely not the same as what we got here, especially with Zed as well. Because
Yes,
like in the TV show, Zed and Rita ended up becoming like humans and being like really good people or whatever at the end of the series, but not so much here.
No. So super spoiler if you want to read this.
Yeah.
Um, turns out that Zed and Zordon had no clue. Zed is like the original like ultra guardian, elite guardian
Mhm.
of Eltar, and like took Zordon out of the army that he was in and made him his like one of his assistants and
Yeah,
like
like
made
his
him his
second
number
hand man.
two.
Yeah.
And then Zordon was like this guy leading when he died, became Zed, which was all a setup from this guy that got pushed to number three.
Hmm.
Um, I thought that was really cool, really interesting. A lot of like plot elements that I never would have even thought about.
Right. And they actually showed like him becoming Zed, like not just,
Yeah,
all right, I'm evil now and now I have all this power, but instead it was like I went and trained with a whole bunch of sorcerers, I learned their ways, and then I killed everybody, and then I went and trained here. Like he already had the training from being the Supreme Guardian at Eltar. So like it makes sense of why he is such a powerful villain in this whole universe. So
it
it
also
was
makes
good to
sense
see that.
why the Guardians of Eltar never stopped him
Right.
when he was doing his stuff on Earth. Why they never intervened because he
Hmm.
knew, like the guy leading Eltar knew what was
He didn't
going
want
on
to
and
stop him.
let him and Zordon just duke it out.
Yeah, he wanted a common enemy. Like, hey guys, we need to fight this guy, but I'm not gonna tell you what like where he came from and stuff. So yeah, that was really cool. And the struggle basically at the end between those three, it was a heartfelt moment for all of them. And Zed still choosing to be evil even after learning the truth. It was kind of like dumb on his character, but true to his character. So I
Yeah.
appreciated it.
And with that being said, the Power Rangers ongoing followed the Omega Rangers, the original Mighty Morphin red, yellow, and black, along with this really cool robot. And the first issue, they literally break in to the power chamber and steal Draken because he had they so you have the Morphin Masters that created what are they called? The three guys that change color, that change ranger
Oh,
suits.
not the Imperials, but the Elementals. The dang,
Ah,
I forgot. I for some reason was calling them Morphin Masters, but they're not. They're
they're not
emissaries.
they were put them
Emissaries.
they were made by the Morphin Masters.
Yeah, they're emissaries.
Emissaries.
Yeah.
Right. So the blue emissary had just who organized the Omega Rangers is killed. Um and it opens up a hole for this Imperial, this giant Zord looking alien monster to destroy worlds and recreate reality and whatever. So every time um one of those guys dies, a new Imperial comes out.
Right.
So they come to Zordon, tell him, and Zordon's not really like helping them. And Draken knows about it. He witnessed one of them die. So they go with him, they steal him, and they go. And I like this adventure. I like this character development. And I loved how they replaced the Blue Ranger.
Oh, Kia. Is that
Yeah.
what you're talking about?
Yeah. They replaced it with an alien cat.
That was ridiculous. I don't see how that's gonna keep up. But it's just I don't do the are they able to talk to the cat once they morph?
I the way that they've made it seem so far, it seems so. Maybe it's by like some kind of like intergrid
Who knows? Like
telepath.
I know for sure like when they're not morphed, they're just like what do you I don't know what you want, blah blah. But they haven't really shown the cat. I forgot the cat's name.
Yale.
Unmorph around them. What's that?
Yale.
Yeah, that's right. They haven't shown. We haven't seen enough yet. We just saw him like get his power, get into the middle of a fight, and now we're gonna actually see them
So we
talk.
did get a bunch of origin story
Oh
for
yeah, yeah,
Yale,
yeah.
which I liked. How he was like bullied and tricked, and they were Kia and the evil people during Necessary Evil were trying to take advantage of him or her.
Mhm.
I don't know which one it is.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
But I really enjoyed that character. The Hawk person from Safe Haven, the planet that they live on, um, can speak to Yale, which is
Yes.
weird.
Yeah.
So like the animal like aliens can speak to the
Hmm.
cat alien, but the humans can't.
Which makes sense. I mean, language is
Yeah.
language.
How did you feel about what they did to develop Draken in that storyline?
I don't like it. I wanted Draken to be evil as evil can be, and that's it. Like there is no redemption for Draken. He literally shattered the whole universe. There shouldn't be redemption, but by the end of this, Trini of all people is the one that's like, hey, you still have friends. You don't have to be who you are. I'm just like, no, like there doesn't need to be two Tommies. You know what I mean? Like I didn't like it. I wanted him to be. I did like the scenes that he was in, like him controlling the horde. Now that was really
Yeah, this
strategic.
alien
Very
vampire species.
yeah, yeah. He's like, I killed their leader, so now I'm their leader. He's still very strategic and still very underlying evil, but they're kind of hinting at a redemption arc with him, and I don't want that redemption. He doesn't deserve the redemption in my eyes, but he's still a badass for sure.
What would you do if he became the Gold Zeo Ranger?
That's not happening. They're not going to change that. So I don't even have to have an opinion because it's not happening.
Yeah, he's just gonna have to kill Trey of what was he? Trey of Triality
Something like that. T of T. I know that much. Yeah.
TFT
Yeah.
killed by dragon.
But there's three of them. So I don't
Oh,
know.
Triforia.
Triforia. There you go. But yeah, no, I don't see that happening. I don't see him becoming one of the Rangers from like the TV shows, but
Yeah.
I do see him being his own thing. Like he is his own thing. He's Draken. He's the Lord Draken. He's got the white suit, but mixed with a whole bunch of other stuff.
So
Um,
I personally haven't been reading the the Power Rangers mini series, Power Rangers
Universe.
universe,
Hmm.
but I know they're trying to explain Phantom Ranger, right?
That's what I thought it was gonna be, but it's only 3 issues out of 6 so far, and none of it. Phantom Ranger is in it. I'll say that. Like you haven't read it, so I don't want to spoil it too much. But Phantom Ranger is in it, and his origin is kind of explained. Um, but it doesn't seem like that's the main storyline. There's actually something else coming out of it, which
I know
is
that
another.
they're basically doing because Power Rangers is based off of a Japanese show called Super Sentai, which had like I think like 15 seasons before the
Hmm,
season we know as Mighty Morphin.
maybe
And
I never watched them. Yeah,
yeah,
but
well,
yeah,
I can't speak Japanese, so
there's
um,
called subtitles, man.
but a lot of the footage that was used is from that show.
Hmm,
So the first two seasons, a lot of the monster battles that were used in um the second and third season of the Mighty Morphin show were from the season after Mighty Morphin.
hmm,
They just superimposed their Megazord and like would edit out like different things because the White Ranger from Mighty Morphin is actually from the next season.
hmm,
He's not from the show with the Mighty Morphin Rangers. So all the scenes you see with the White Ranger with the Mighty Morphin Rangers are all American scenes because they never appeared together on screen in Japan.
okay.
Um, so what I read is that they're trying to introduce these alien characters as that team of Rangers that we skipped over
Okay, I could
because
see
that was the
that
only
maybe.
team we've skipped over.
So there's nothing definite yet. So I could see that happening, but there's definitely other theories out there as well. Again, and I don't want to go into it too much
But
because it is
that's
kind of
where the Thunder
spoiler
Zord
heavy.
comes from.
Okay.
Thunder Megazord was their Megazord.
Okay.
But yeah, so I like that. Um I really am loving the series and basically at the end they find out that the person controlling the Imperials is the leader of Eltar. And then in Mighty Morphin we find out that Skull's girlfriend is a Eltarian guardian.
Yeah, she was with his guard, the Altarian Zardes.
Yeah.
She was under his guard, and then she found out basically what he's been up to, and so she basically infiltrated Earth just to reach out to Zordon and try to warn the Rangers of what's coming. And
So with that was issues 13 through 16 of both series, which was titled the event the Altarian War. Um a lot of double crossing. This is after the Rangers free Angel Grove from being inside this giant energy dome. Um they're freshly out of that. And were helped by um Skull's alien girlfriend.
yeah,
Um, and then we get to see this elite team of Eltarians. This, what are they called? The
it's
Force Four or something.
yeah, something Force. I know that Force is in there, but they were pretty cool.
They were cool characters.
They
Um,
I feel like they could overwhelm the Power Rangers like at any given time. Like they won, Power Rangers won it eventually, but they got their ass handed to them
it took
over and over.
the main five
Yeah,
plus the Green and White Ranger combining their Zords, which was sick to see the
yeah,
Dragon Zord and the White Tiger Zord combined was awesome. Plus, they needed all four Omega Rangers.
yeah,
Like plus the main villains, like the minions of Zed, were teamed up with them.
That's right, that's right. So that's what I'm saying. Like they needed a whole bunch of Force just for these. Was it 4 or 5? Altarian.
Three, three. Oh, for the four, they beat
Yeah,
them, and then they had the Imperials.
right. Because they had the guy that could teleport, the main guy,
The little
um,
kid in the
little
giant
kid.
robot was really cool.
Yeah, and then there was one more. I thought,
The
or
guy
is
with
it
the
just those two?
sword guy. Can I just say my favorite part of this series so far is the way Adam and Rocky are written.
That's a good opinion to have, I guess.
They so Rocky was never that serious in the show, but they never made him stand out from Jason.
Exactly,
They
and
just
they're
made him
not
like
making him
a
stand
copy
out
of
here either.
Jason. Here they make him like his own personality of like
No,
this.
he was never a copy of Jason in the show, and here he's again. I feel like it's the very same thing. Like in the show, Rocky, like they made him step down from being the leader. Well, actually, he was never the leader because he came in when Tommy was in, but he was a
Yeah,
Red Ranger, and then they demoted him down to a Blue Ranger, and then a kid took over his spot. Like that's how unworthy Rocky was. And then like here, he doesn't do anything either. Like you say that he has his own personality and stuff, which he always had his own person. I never thought that he was like
but
exactly like
he's like
Jason.
super funny. He's like this lighthearted character that like realizes that he should be in charge, but is never given the opportunity. And to like
Yeah,
compensate for that, he's like, okay, I'm just gonna be the guy keeping the vibe.
which is okay when Adam does it, but I just feel like
I love how
Rocky.
like I know like Adam like towards like Zio and like the beginning of Turbo was like super emo with like the long curly hair and the earrings and stuff. But now they like give him like gauges and like a nose ring.
Which it kind of matches. I feel
Yeah, and I like
I
it.
have no problem with Adam. Adam is great, and he's basically the same character that he was in the TV show,
I can't
and
wait
it
for
was
them to
never a
give him
bad
the
thing.
long hair
Yeah,
because I have to look right now. He's got like the fade going on.
right. But just going back to Rocky, like he really is just disappointing for me. Like everything that he does, it's just like and he calls it out. He calls himself out. He's like, "I'm
Yeah,
not the Red Ranger. I am not the leader here. I am not. I'm not Jason." And it's
but
like you're not.
even Kimberly is like over him in this
Yeah.
series.
Well,
Like
everybody is. Aisha, who joined with him, is way better. I feel like, I think out of the new three, she's the best one. Strategically, fighting wise, everything. Like and she also has her own personality as well. But I really do think out of those three, Aisha is definitely the better Ranger. Adam is funny, and the Black Ranger has always kind of been the like comedic relief. So
Yeah, like
then,
the
and then
black.
Red Ranger is supposed to be a leader, and it sucks that Rocky can't be a leader because Tommy is there. And I don't know what he could do to make me change my mind about him, but something I just don't like him.
Um, so I really did like this whole series, especially the end of this event leading into what we're doing now. The Mighty Morphin series just got taken over. New artists that I didn't really like,
No,
and a new writer, Matt Grom, who is the creator and writer of Infernal Girl Red for Image Comic Books, which is releasing a trade paperback hardcover graphic novel that's tied into the Radiant Black stuff that Kyle Higgins is also doing.
which kind
Um,
of scares me for Inferno Go Red because I'm excited for it, but like after reading this 17th issue, I was just like,
it's funny how Image Comic Books, like this universe they're building, uh, you got Radiant Black by the original Power Rangers writer. You
mm,
have this like spin-off graphic novel by the guy who's now going to be writing Mighty Morphin, and then the guy who's currently writing Power Rangers and was writing Mighty Morphin, Ryan Parrot, is writing Rogue Sun,
yeah.
which is tied in to that whole super massive event. So it's funny how all these Power Rangers writers are also doing something for Image Comics.
Yeah, well, I feel like it's all very Power Rangers related.
Yeah.
They're all very similar. So it's like you guys have shown that you know how to write teams like this or stories like this. So can you keep it going and do this universe too?
Um, Yeah, I agree with that. And I thought this was super action packed. I was shocked every issue. Um, the the origin stories to some of these characters was incredible. The end fight scene between Zartan, Zed, and Zordon. Zordon getting the suit with his head in it was awesome.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah,
how they
it's about
characterized
time that we actually
Zordon.
see him like do something like seeing him in the flashbacks that would have been enough for me, but to see him actually fight in real time like today, that was cool.
So yeah, I really like those big fight scenes. What was your highlight of the series so far? Series.
Of like both Power Rangers and Mighty
Yeah.
Morphin. Honestly, I think the most exciting parts were like when we got the Dragon Zord mixed with the White Tiger Zord.
Which
Um,
they teased that for so long because like they were gonna do it and then it didn't work and then they
yeah,
you finally did it and I was like, oh, thank God.
Zordon. Right before he goes, I think we've talked about this, but like right before he goes back to the his tube, you know, he takes one look at Earth, you know, just kind of taking it all in. That was a very good moment. Um, but yeah, no, I mean, honestly though, it's been pretty good story overall. Nothing other than those two things that really like hyped me up. Um, yeah, no, I think the Chaos Putties were kind of cool. You know, they're stronger, so they gave him more of a challenge. Um, I wouldn't say that that's a highlight or anything, but it was cool to see.
I really liked in Power Rangers how we had that planet that was going to get destroyed by the Imperials, and you
Mhm.
got to see Zach really like get emotional and step up and try to save. Like it
Yeah.
was like a planet of creatures that we had been seeing from the flashbacks
Hmm.
in uh Power in Mighty Morphin had done a bunch of really messed up stuff and we got to see them now in current time and how like they were ruled by these evil people that wanted to conquer worlds, but like the main population was not like that and didn't want that.
Hmm.
And like you got to see like Zach
Yeah.
realize that and try to save them, and
And
like
make
ultimately have to be like, oh, I failed.
well, even on top of that, like making the tough choice of leaving the leader behind. He did that on purpose. And he's like, I don't have like kind of like Batman from Batman Begins. Like I don't. I'm not gonna kill you, but I don't have to save you. You know, like so it's a tough uh, decision to make,
He
but it's
literally
one that
killed the
most
guy.
people would
He
make.
literally
Yeah,
let the guy die.
yeah, exactly. He
That was
watched him.
dark.
He closed the door on him and watched him leave.
That
So,
was a heavy moment. Like that was some major character development right there.
and I didn't blame him for it. You know, it's probably not like the heroic thing to do, but it's
But at
definitely
the
the
same
human
time,
thing.
I think that was the influence of them living with Draken. Kind of made those
Yeah,
three characters a little bit darker.
yeah, I can see that.
Um oh, and also the introduction. I don't know if we got it before, but it was my first introduction of SPD in the current timeline.
Oh yeah, no, we definitely didn't get it before. It was just that was really weird to see. But like again, I think we've talked about this, but I don't know if they were SPD Rangers. They were just
No,
SPD
but
officers.
um we also got to see the main villains from um in space,
Yes,
which
yeah. So
is
that's how you know like it's coming up.
yeah, Andros's sister
Hmm.
Andromeda, and I
Andromeda.
always forget the guy
Is
who's
it
made out
Andromeda
of
or
like
Astronomer?
astronomer.
I don't. I always get them confused. I don't know. Astronomer sounds right though.
Yeah, it's astronomer. And then I always forget the her like mentor that raises her, the big like green and black crystal guy,
Ecliptor.
Ecliptor. Okay.
Mhm.
You get to see them, and Ecliptor comes to Draken and the Omega Rangers and asks them for help.
Which is
Um,
like development that we didn't see until the end of the season in space.
Space.
You know, like in the beginning he's just the evil dude, but at the end by the end of that series, like he's just like he really just loves Astronomer, and then
Yeah.
here it's like I've loved her all along, and like I've make
So all
willing
this
to do
is
these
tied
choices.
into Dark Spectre, which in the flashbacks is even a problem. Like the main space villain is a problem in like the origin story to Zordon, which is crazy.
Which just a minor spoiler for you and for whoever's watching, Power Rangers universe does involve Dark Spectre,
Or
the
I
series Power
assume
Rangers universe.
it all
So
has to. Apparently, he's like the biggest like Power Rangers
evil.
villain in the comic books now.
Yeah, up until the third season, I guess, when we get to Turbo, and he's just really not that evil in in the movie, at least.
But he was like a big player in space.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and I really liked that they showed these FPV guys, and I don't remember who it was. I think it was Ecliptor said, "Oh, maybe one day to the guy who was leading the SPD force, you'll be on like a C squad." So I'm
Yeah,
assuming that the Rangers exist because they mentioned that.
I'm assuming that they start off, you know, like, hey, we're gonna have an A squad, B squad, C squad, and then eventually, once they get the actual technology or the power to tap into the morphing grid, to be like, all right, well, this is obviously gonna go to the A squad. Yeah, A squad's gonna have the power to become Rangers, but I don't think it started off that way. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I
But it's
want to
just
know how
theories at this
far
point.
SPD is in this continuity because it
Did they
seems
show
like
the
it's
dog?
like out in space, it's like
Did,
developed.
did they show the dog as the captain?
No, there was a dog alien, but it
But it
was
wasn't the
oh yeah,
same.
he was the captain, but I don't think he's not Kruger.
He's not Kruger. Okay,
Yeah,
because if it was
he
Kruger,
was
then it's like
he looked like
that's
he could
a
have been the
little off.
same species as Kruger,
Yeah.
but he was red.
That no, well that dog was the bad guy, right? From Mighty Morphin. Like he went and took on the
Oh,
team and like just demolished them. Which
yes.
is another highlight that you were asking for highlights. That dog was just a badass, took down the whole team, which made Tommy have to go and like really take control of his new power as the White Ranger. So that was really cool to see.
Yeah, this series is really good. I'm really enjoying it. I love the development and how they're taking something that was already very well developed, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna start from the beginning. We're gonna highlight and bring up some stuff that we've already done in the show, but we're also gonna add a ton of stuff that's just gonna make sense."
Mhm.
And just spoiling a little bit as teasers have been released. Um, Coming up, we're going to see Andros, the red in Space Ranger. He's been teased in two covers
Yeah.
now. I think 18 and 19
Mhm.
of Power Rangers, which is right now both main teams are going to be in space. So Um, I'm assuming we're gonna see Ninjor soon.
We have to. I really hope they don't skip Zeo and Turbo just to go to in space. It makes sense because everyone is in space right now, but
Yeah,
I really just hope that we kind of dial it back and go back to Earth.
Turbo is one of my favorite suit designs.
Hmm.
And obviously the Zords are super realistic as their cars.
Yeah.
So that could be a whole Billy thing where he builds everything himself.
I really do, and that makes sense. But I really do feel like Billy is going to go to Promethea, like to with Grace
That's what I'm
and do shit
saying.
with her.
He could, with Promethea, create the Turbo Rangers.
But I don't think Grace has any like she does work together with the Rangers out of necessity, but she doesn't like the Rangers. She doesn't like Zordon. She's growing to respect them, yes, but she said it many times, like I'm doing my own thing,
Yeah, but
and if we need to
so
work
we were
together, great.
teased.
But no,
Well, not teased. Yeah, I guess teased. In this current issue, issue 17 of Mighty Morphin, we got to see what looks like the Cog Empire.
yeah, yeah, that was
Um,
weird.
and could lead to them having to do this big war in space.
Yeah,
So Earth might be vulnerable and she might be able to take what we know as a turbo team, draft them with Billy, and create a whole new with like a shard of the Zeo crystal, create their own ranger team
I
and build
don't
the
think
Zords.
I don't think that because we already have Omega Rangers and Mighty Morphin, and we're getting a glimpse of the in space Rangers. I don't think we're gonna have multiple teams at one time. It wouldn't make sense to have multiple, other than like the crossover episodes that we had like on the TV
So
shows.
right now, apparently, SPT exists,
Mhm.
and Astronema says she already killed a ranger from another team.
Yeah, so there are other Rangers. That's true. So it could have been SPD. You're right. So
Yeah,
there you go. Like it
I
could have
think
been.
they highlight. I think there was a mini series Boom did where Andros chased after his sister, and they talked about what team it was she attacked.
Yeah, they did. They did do like a one shot, and I do have it. I just don't have it. It's back there somewhere. Um, yeah, but I can't remember what team it was,
They
or
made
if
it
it was.
up.
I
It was
because
it was a
what I
comic
remember from
unique
it,
team.
it was that she like had to do like this underground kind of fight within her own kind of group. Like that she would work out with this. Imagine her own like little Power Ranger squad, but then eventually they would have to do like a gladiator match for Dark Spectre, and they even though they all grew up and trained together, they had to kill each other, and whoever won would be the Dark Spectre's right hand, which is what she is.
It's so interesting because now that she exists and Andros exists in this, and like, obviously she becomes a Pink Ranger eventually.
Mhm. Two
Um,
Rangers,
what?
two because she becomes the Lost Galaxy one as well.
No, she doesn't become in space. She just becomes Lost Galaxy.
Now in space, she's a Pink Ranger too.
No, that's the
No, you're
the
right. Yeah, you're right. Is it? I swear she was two Pink Rangers though. Yeah, I remember in Galaxy it was the other girl that gave her the power, but
yeah.
I swear she was another. Well, but yeah, no, you're right.
She could be now.
Yeah, now anything is literally
I think it's
on the table.
possible, and that's why I love this series. I thank you so much for getting me into it because I'm loving it.
I haven't had no one to talk about it. uh, like
He
Carlos,
says that, but
brought it
now
up.
the two people he makes a show with are now obsessed with it.
Yeah, so I kind of forced him on it. Carlos is almost caught up, but he's
Yeah,
not quite there.
he
He's
went back to the beginning. I
yeah.
did not have the time to do that.
No, I think he's at the split with Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers. He's starting that, but other
Okay.
than that, he's not completely caught up. But if he's going at the same pace that he was to catch up, he's probably gonna be there within a week or two.
Yeah, it's just a really cool way that they're doing it. How a lot of this stuff is brand new, but it feels so familiar. And when you're
So, like you were saying, like we can do pretty much do anything now. And I was saying that Rocky, he became the Blue Ranger and then whatever. So now, since you can have different teams, and maybe Billy stays on the team and he's the Blue Zeo Ranger or something, that's what I was gonna say for my theory of Rocky. Like they're really in this 17th issue of Mighty Morphin, it looked like they were already kind of pushing him out. Like he's got other things to worry about. He has a family, little brothers and sisters that he needs to take care of. He can't go to space with the rest because he needs to stay back or something. Like it almost looks like he's the weakest link, and he's starting to kind of feel it. So I was just having a few thoughts when I was reading it, just saying like maybe they're gonna kick him off. This is his way of hey,
But
Justin's
he
gonna
also
come.
might stay
I don't know.
on Earth as like Earth's defender. Like he can't
Which
go into space.
he ain't that strong. So he immediately lost in this one issue. He needed Matt to back him up. Like he's just disappointing over
But
and over and
I like
over.
Matt, and I would love a separate team with him and Matt.
I need an explanation of where Matt's going because I don't like Matt as a Ranger, and I feel like he should lose his green power coin eventually. But it is what it is. And like you were saying, he could also be part of Promethea's team um,
Yeah,
to
you know
be
he
a
could.
Ranger.
Now that we have, no, when we went into Zeo, we only had um 6 active Rangers,
Hmm.
and that's Kim leaves, and Kim's replaced at the end. Um, and then Billy leaves,
Well, we had
and
5, and then we had the 6th one with Jason, the Gold Ranger.
Jason comes back.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
Jason comes back and takes on like the 6th Ranger position,
yeah.
and we have 6 guys. Now we have so many active Rangers. We have 7 active Rangers plus 4 Omega Rangers.
I have a feeling that they're going to just, you know, it's going to be something along the lines of, "Hey, Zordon's calling. Jason, we need your help. Trini, Zach, and Yale stay back at Safe Haven, and they are Safe Haven's Rangers, and that's where they stay. That's why we've never heard of them. That's where they live the rest of their life, whatever. And that's why Jason comes back, and then we'll never get the Omega Rangers again for a while, at least. At least,
Do you think they're gonna do anything with Kimberly? Are they gonna leave? Are they gonna lose her? Is she gonna
I
stay
think.
because she's popular?
Why did she leave in the show?
Probably some financial reason.
I remember. Honestly, I think it was college, and she was like, "I got to go to college, and here's Catherine, and she can be my replacement." But I
Because
can't remember.
her and Jason are in the movie, right?
The
They get
Turbo,
captured.
yeah, in the Turbo movie, yeah. So she stays on Earth, but I do want to see her get replaced as well. Like I do, I wanted to loosely follow what we already know, but I do want them to take, creators, whatever it's called. I can't think of it off the top of my head. I want them to do their own thing,
Mhm.
but loosely stay based on what we already know.
Yeah, I agree.
So I want
Yeah.
Catherine.
So, you have anything else to say about overall
Cat
plot or the structure of this or anything?
Catherine is the better Pink Ranger out of her and Kim. So I'll say that. I'll throw that out there and let the world know the truth.
Wow, that's crazy. Are you out of the shows? Would you say you like Zeo more than Mighty Morphin?
I think so. I think Zeo was just something so new, and like the suits were so great. Everything was geometric. I'm a nerd. I really liked math when I was a kid. So
I
like
I
seeing
hate
all of
the
that.
Zords. I hate the Zeo
The
Zords
Zords
except
were,
for
yeah.
the pyramid.
You know what? I thought the pyramid was the weakest. But you're right. Those Zords were honestly all not that great.
All of them because they
Um,
have 2 sets. And
because, but I do think that Power Rangers just does get progressively better up until a certain point. I think
I
what's
think
the
In Space is where,
I was
because
gonna say that, but then I was like, I really like Lost Galaxy as well. Like
well,
Lost
like
Galaxy,
it
especially
has
theme
its
song.
moments.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a
Um,
huge fan of Lightspeed Rescue, but
Lightspeed was really cool because I really liked the Platinum Ranger. I thought that was
I like the
the Silver
Platinum.
Ranger. I thought that
But I
was
like
really
the
cool.
Platinum Ranger for the same reason I like the In Space Silver Ranger.
There you go. Yeah, I really like both of them. I've always liked the Sixth Ranger of a lot of
I
things.
think everyone does, and I think that it all ties back to Tommy
Yeah,
because he's
yeah.
like this
That's why
extra
Tommy's the best
character.
Ranger. Um, Wild Force was probably, but then so Wild Force is when I stopped watching. I finished Wild Force, and then I was like, I'm too old for this. I'm too cool for Power Rangers. No more. And then I went back and watched a bunch. I caught up.
I watched Wild Force. I watched what came after Ninja Storm.
Yes,
I
which was
and
the first
after
time we got
Ninja,
three Rangers,
af,
which was weird.
but then you get a Samurai Ranger, and then you get
Mm,
two more Ninja Rangers.
yep. Yeah. So it went back to
Um,
six.
yeah, you end up with six.
Jungle
It's
Fury was good.
Jungle Fury is the one where Tommy comes back, right?
No, that's Dino, not
Dino Thunder.
Dino Thunder. Yeah, Dino
I
Thunder,
think that was the last one I watched, and then I went back. I skipped Mystic Force. I
which
didn't
is
watch
horrible. Good thing. That was a miss.
the characters. The suits are okay.
No capes. I
No
agree with
capes.
Edna Mode. All right, no capes.
Um, but I really liked. I like that. I didn't like Mystic Force. I didn't watch it when it came out. I didn't watch RPM. Um, I liked SPD. I
Yeah, you
watched
know what?
SPD.
So Mystic Force is when it started going down. SPD is when it came back up. Then they did Overdrive, so it goes back down. And I think it's honestly after Samurai and
After
Up, it hasn't been
isn't
good.
after Overdrive is when they stop for a little bit
I don't know. I don't know.
and then they
Like
come
the
back with RPM.
RPM was
I liked it.
RPM was okay. And it's its own dimension, so it makes it a little bit better. But RPM was just okay, better than other things, worse than the rest. But I think Samurai up until Beast Morphers were just very um, disappointing. And now currently we have Dino Fury, which is actually pretty great. I've been enjoying Dino Fury a
Yeah,
lot.
I'm watching both of the last two seasons. Um, they're a little corny.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
but we're older now, so it's like,
the Super Sentai that I wish they would have adapted, which I don't think they're going to because Hasbro's going to reboot the whole series. Was I don't know what it's called in Japan, but basically their suits and their Zords and everything are based off of um like astrology signs and like constellations, and they're
interesting.
really cool. The Six Ranger is like another Red Ranger is like a phoenix. He has like a SWAT suit with like a microphone. It's really cool. There's aliens that are rangers. There robots that become rangers. It's like a 16-man team.
That's pretty interesting.
It was,
Now,
it's really cool, and it's the Qtamas is the gimmick where they took the idea of Common Rider of how different like objects could create different things in the
mhm,
morpher. So like they all have these little things that look like like a globe, like that you could spin it
yeah,
and it's at like an angle and has the thing that holds it.
mhm.
The things that allow them to turn into rangers, that's that. And then that was also a major part of the Zords that have big giant ones and they can interlock the limbs through those orbs. And that's why you could do any combination.
Huh, that's
Anyone could
cool.
be a leg, anyone could be an arm.
Yeah, that's in Dino Fury. Like, there's so many different types of combinations with the Zords. I personally don't like it because my old brain can't keep up with what Zord is what. But that sounds pretty cool. And I know you're trying to wrap it up, but
Yeah.
have you heard of the new Netflix series Power Rangers
I
that's going to come
haven't
out?
looked too deep into it.
Okay, me neither. I was wondering if you had and
I
if you
don't
had
think
any
they've really
more
released that
information.
much. I heard rumors that they're going to do an animated series also.
That'd be cool. And because animation, you can pretty much do whatever you
Do
want.
anything.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and all this stuff is going to be original. It's not going to be using Super Sentai footage. It's going to be kind of how Hasbro does Transformers.
Hmm.
Everything to be for them to market as toys. So everything's gonna be cool looking and everything's gonna be feasible.
Right.
Um, yeah. Once again, I am the Vile Casket Nick. This is Manny from Manny Reads Comics. We put up a show every Tuesday, almost every
Mhm.
Tuesday,
Yeah.
called the Weekly Roundup, which is our top 3 weekly issues from our pull list that compete in a bracket to determine the pick of the week, the pick of the month, and the pick of the year.
Yep.
Um,
Mhm.
this was our recap review of issues 1 through 16 of both Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers, written by Ryan Parrot over at Boom Studios. Definitely check it out. They do have trade paperbacks collecting almost everything. There are hardcovers of the previous stuff written by Kyle Higgins out right now. And I would suggest diving into it if you're interested. Uh,
Absolutely.
check out Manny's channel on YouTube and his TikTok and his Instagram, all at Manny Reads Comics.
Right.
Puts out some really cool micro reviews and fast burst kind of stuff on YouTube.
Yeah.
And tune into our show every Tuesday. Do me a favor, guys, and remember to please stay lame.